welcome to the video. Back at it with another one. And here today we're talking about the mental health crisis and how it's on the rise, and how there's always been a disruptor that could solve or manage this at the very least. But it's been right in front of us this entire time, but it's just a matter of it being utilized and actually taking action if people actually follow through. But that's just not how it works. But this disruptor is so huge that it could literally disrupt the major industries of the pharmaceutical industry and the meat and dairy industry. As that may sound shocking, it's very true, because as you can see here it's all connected on how you feel and how you do daily with your activities. But the real connection here is when I first pull this up, of course, abnormal cortisol levels are always correlated no matter the illness. Higher levels, abnormal levels that are out of balance. And people are always looking for that happy balance that have these problems. As it says here, depression, bipolar, anxiety, stress disorders, substance abuse, paranoid, schizophrenia, all these illnesses, they all have one thing in common. And that one thing is, again, abnormal cortisol levels. The goal is, when you have an illness, you're told that you need to balance this in order to feel or be normal in the headspace, and physically, mentally, emotionally, just everything. So what can be the solution to this? And it's been right in front of us this entire time, but unfortunately it's so simple. It just is not utilized, and it's shocking. And of course, we live in a world now where people are just so stressed at the worst. A lot of alcohol drinking, very bad, unstable diets that are just processed. Those are the two big things: alcohol, drug use, bad foods. It's all connected to stress. Always has been. And your doctor will tell you that alcohol has never been good for anyone. And they're saying that. Of course, lack of physical activity with this lifestyle, continuing of work from home, lack of connections and relationships. It's a whole lot of things. But the main thing is, we are what we eat, and that's literally in the sense. So okay, we've been westernized in this meat eating, dairy, industry or world, and it's, when you look at this, we want to lower these cortisol levels as much as we can to live a normal life without stress. First step is you look at this in the hindsight, and when you look up sugar lowers cortisol, yes, it says it reduces it. And people have been pondered by why people resort to sweets and how it's highly addictive. But people say, oh, sugar is bad for diabetes, bad for health. And it's just, while that might be true to an extent, but it depends on what that is. Sugar and fruits, for example, it says here, decreases cortisol levels. Add sugars, processed foods, baked goods, all the fatty baked goods, like a lot of fat, a lot of sugar and fat creates insulin resistance, especially with those suffering with diabetes type 2. So it's pretty simple. Fruits, vegetables contain water and fiber, vitamins, everything that's essential. Fats, even nuts and seeds. It's just, sometimes you have to moderate the fat, of course, but that's the goal. Low fat, high carb vegan is how I solve my obesity epidemic or problem. Incredible how that worked. from the power of researching and changing my diet. But yes, as it says here, fruits, vegetables are great. Just everything that's plant-based is just the perfect food for the human body. But, people are going to say, well, it depends on the person, depends on their conditions. Well, yes, I do agree with that. But I wouldn't say or make that as an excuse, but, you can't really change how people eat, and it's just, you can't always win people over, because sometimes people just don't want to look into it or even consider it, which fine, I get it. We're so connected to the world with how everyone eats, but it's like sometimes I looked at that and I'm like, well, is this going to really benefit me? And my answer was no, it definitely did not. It was the way my health was going, and my family history was like, I gotta change. There might be people that have like a bunch of problems that I don't know about, like, there's food allergies, believe it or not, fruit allergies, but it's like, that's kind of the tough spot. The unknown, I feel like, is the people that have the unusual allergies to plant foods, which therefore limits, it's a whole thing, and it's just very interesting. That part I'm not sure about, but that's unfortunate for them, but hopefully there's a solution to that. But yeah, the sugar lowers cortisol, fruits, vegetables, all of it makes sense it's all good for you. Now, could I say it could cure mental illnesses? Depends on who you are. Maybe not. For me, personally, dealing with complications, I am surprised to say that it has. For sure. And I am listed on one of those list of illnesses. But it's very shocking to me, like how nobody is really talking about this. It's like, it's unheard of. Yeah, we know that, it's pretty common that, oh yeah, we know, fruits, vegetables, low fat, all of that's becoming more mainstream of, it helps diabetes, it gets rid of it, the type 2 diabetes, at least type 2 for now, but yeah, pretty shocking discovery. Wait, man, like, we're all looking for the long term, we're not looking to be yo-yoing the rest of our life like a lot of the society is, with these fad drugs, weight loss hacks, pills. It's all gimmicks just for money. It's why the industry of pharmaceuticals is so incredibly rich in value, trillion-dollar industry for a reason. We just get played by these false pills, potions, and it's just, that's not the real solution. The real solution is you gotta stop eating these junk foods that are just highly processed. And even people are gonna have their own opinion. Personally, I just don't think meat and dairy is the way. They're saying, okay, yeah, it says here in this research can lead to increased cortisol levels, which is the opposite of fruit and vegetables, which is pretty interesting. Of course they're going to say, well, you can just, portion is very important. And so it's like, okay, so like restricting your intake of energy is just even worse than ever before. Like, that's worse than not just eating enough. You can't, so you're basically telling me, okay, so if you want to eat this way, the standard way, you gotta basically starve yourself and like portion. Like, who wants to eat less? No, nobody I would know would. Everyone likes eating good food and a good amount of it. Quite frankly, at first I was led to believe that that's what I had to do, but that's just not. They're just not going to tell you this stuff. There's only a few people on the internet exposing this truth. And it's just, it's crazy how it's still not mainstream when it should be. But it's just, nobody wants to, it's like, this could literally hurt pharmaceutical, meat, and dairy. Like, if everyone participated in this, it could change the world forever in that, in that sense. But, who knows, they don't want you to know this. The big people don't want you to know this, but it's the truth. It's like they know it. The industry is just cash cowed to the max. It's just a shame because the truth, it just does not pay, apparently. So, or this would have been really mainstream by now, but no, everyone likes the money. The money is the root of all evil in these industries, and it's very sad to see, and not very much knowledge of it either. Only a few people, very, very few people might know. But, you know, that's for you to figure out. But, you know, it's like when you look at all of this, it's just you see it all and you're like, it actually makes sense from this perspective. As I'll throw up all these screenshots of what I'm saying, but it's like, you can only do so much. I mean, and everyone's different too. You have to kind of respect people of how they are in their lifestyle and how they eat, but it's like, just seeing this on a research perspective, it just makes all sense, to me at least. Depends on who you are. I mean, you might have other opinions, but okay, that's totally fine, I respect that, but like, I'm just going off by what I see here and research, and you know, it's incredible. Big revolution that's always been here, utilized, unknown when it'll be really utilized. Well, it probably has been. Some people might know this, but you know, it's, who knows. Not enough people were talking about it. Make the change, research, make sense of it, look at your results, make the judgment.